Friday's top spread lines. You know you need these here tonight. A little bit of a mix of college basketball action. More importantly, take a look at some NBA action, and away we go. Let's start in college basketball. A 7 o'clock start tonight. VCU going to take on St. Louis. Last time we checked on St. Louis, they only had one loss on the season. Incredible, right? Well, they just lost their last game. And by the way, don't look now. VCU on a streak of their own, Joe. This line opened up overnight at 8.5 points. It's actually dropped to 7.5 to many locations and a total of 164.5. St. Louis has the number one defense inefficiency in conference play, also the number one offense inefficiency in conference play, coming off their second loss of the season. Can they win, or more importantly, can they cover in this game? What's your spread line, Joe?
I mean, this is the Atlantic 10 game of the year. And frankly, Donnie, if we're being honest, this is the mid-major game of the year so far with St. Louis and VCU. I mean, we're talking about a VCU team now 21-6 going up against a 25-1, St. Louis team here, Donnie, that if we're being completely honest, we haven't seen a game at this point in the season in the Atlantic 10 with these two teams that have these few of losses since 2004. Now, listen, St. Louis can bounce back in a big way here at home. Look at that number, 7.5, Donnie. That's what it was overnight. We're still seeing 7.5s here, so maybe the market's going, maybe the regression's about to hit here for St. Louis. But that's still a very big number, Donnie. Also, the total has cranked up 3 points since the open of 161, 161.5. We're seeing 164.5, 165. So I can tell you this, I don't think I want to sweat out an under, not with the pace and the shooting of both of these teams and the three-point shooting. I might be looking at the over in this one.
Let's get over to the Big Ten. Mackey Arena. Last time we were in Mackey Arena, Purdue was looking for an upset, but weren't able to get it done. They took a loss there. Indiana's last game, they took a loss as well. Both teams looking to get back into the win column tonight. Indiana's going to take on Purdue, a battle of the state here. Minus 10.5 at the opening number. Still sits at most outlets today at minus 10.5. A total now up a bit to 148.5. Indiana, Purdue. Big Ten basketball on a Friday night, Joe. What's that spread line?
Well, I mean, listen, Indiana won the first game between these two teams. Can they go ahead and do it again in this one here, Donnie? I mean, the market doesn't seem to think so, though, because it's already been all Purdue, it looks like, here. Now up to 11 at 148.5. Listen, Mackey Arena has not been kind to Purdue, but that's when they got to play the Michigans of the world and the better teams of the world. But right now, I don't consider Indiana to be anywhere in that ballpark. So, yeah, I think this is a get-right spot for Purdue, and so does the market. Double digits here at Mackey Arena. Could be a long night for Indiana.
Can you stay unbeaten in the MAC? Bowling Green going to take on Miami of Ohio. And by the way, if you haven't been watching out, Miami of Ohio games at home, sellout crowds here, raucous arenas. Can they keep it up tonight? Because why? Miami of Ohio favored overnight at minus 7.5. Now we're seeing 8.5s at a lot of places in the sports betting landscape here. 153.5 as a total. Undefeated or defeated tonight, Joe? What's that spread line? Bowling Green, Miami.
The only remaining unbeaten team, Donnie, right, in college basketball. And listen, they are scrappy, if nothing else. It's not like they're so dominant they're blowing teams away. But in the second half, Donnie, when they need buckets, when they need to get a stop, they get them. I mean, they're as scrappy as a team as you are going to see, and now they have an opportunity to keep it rolling. Listen, Ken Pom has them as about a 30% chance to run the table in these remaining 5 games. Wow. The Red Hawks are at home. They got 3 more games on the road, Donnie. I think this one we shouldn't worry about, but again, if it ain't broke, why are we trying to fix it with this team? I don't think Bowling Green's got enough in the tank to take them to task on the road. I think the Red Hawks get it done and cover this game here tonight.
Keep it moving. Stay undefeated. Let's get the party started. Only a couple weeks left in the regular season. Can they run the table and stay unbeaten into the conference tournament? We'll find that out shortly. Can they pick up that W tonight? We'll find out. Expansion, Joe. So when you hear that, it's like, hey, more money's coming in. But is that actually for the good of the game? The only expansion I believe in is college football, because Division I, It used to be Division One AA, which is FCS now. Division Two and Division Three have massive football playoffs. It all works out well, and they're done way before anything in Division 1A, which is now the, FBS, as we like to say, or whatever they call it now, the playoffs. Who cares? But in college basketball, there was once a time where we didn't have so many teams in it. 64 turns into 68. Now they want somewhere into the 70s. Is it a big deal on its view right now? Not necessarily, but I know a lot of people don't like change, and change sometimes is needed because we have to act upon things because they're wrong. The BCS era, 1 versus 2 plays, ridiculous, voted on by a computer. You want to see championships played out on the field, and we're getting that way in major Division I college football. But basketball, 68 to 72 to 76, is there really a difference? And do we actually need it, Joe? Because the NCAA is going like, we don't need it, but it might be worth more money.
Oh, it's definitely worth more money, but we don't need it. It is the one thing in college sports right now that does not need to be fixed, right? Why are we trying to fix things that are You've got a lot of things wrong in college sports right now, but the idea of adding 72, 76 teams, and by the way, this isn't mid-majors that this is going to help, Donnie. This wouldn't help Stonehill or Lemoyne. It's going to help Rutgers, all the bottom tier of the power conferences that weren't good enough to win enough games to get in on their own as an at-large, or, heaven forbid, actually win the conference. Everybody is on level ground, Donnie. You win your conference, and you're in. It's that simple.
You're right about the one thing here, because like being a college basketball purist, like, back in the day, you see these teams, but some of the fun of the tournament was like, hey, these fifth-year seniors, all 5 of them from, I don't know, just a Sun Belt team, let's just call it, is playing, that were 26-1 in the regular season. You want to give those guys the bumps. But again, in the day and age of teams staying together, if you're very good at a lower level, you're gone, because the NIL is going to take you up to that next level, even for a 7th or 8th man off of the bench. And Joe is right. If it was like, okay, here's the clause, 6 more teams are added, we're going to take the best record of the non-mid majors and give them free access for 5 more teams, we would agree upon that. But Joe is right. This is going to be the ACC team that won 6 games that gets in now. It's like, well, wait, what are we actually doing here when you're still leaving out the 26-2 team from the OVC at this point? That's what the changes don't need to be made. But if there's more money in it, they're going to take it every single time. You watch it in the NFL. Hey, this game is great. Great. Let's put more teams in Adelaide, Australia at this point. It doesn't make sense. It only makes sense because it makes more money at this point here. Let's get to some of that college basketball card tonight, Joe. And come on now. Bowling Green versus Miami in Oxford, Ohio tonight. The favorite, Miami of Ohio, by double digits here as we're looking. And by the way, that Bowling Green double digits, I'm checking right now, Joe. I got 7.5s across the board. So I don't know where these double digits or where these books are happening. 153.5. Miami of Ohio tonight. Do they stay unbeaten? That's your question.
Well, they already beat this Bowling Green team in Bowling Green earlier, Donnie, and they did it actually, rather easily here. And listen, Bowling Green's they're a streaky team, streaky shooting team here, right? But a 93-83 game that was, I believe, December 30th. Bowling Green actually was down 54-28 at the half and came back in that game. But, ultimately, it's just too much Redhawks. If they've shown anything, Donnie, it's that this whole idea of running the tables and being the only undefeated, it hasn't really, they play the same way every game. They have been now since the hype of this was brought up, over a month ago. So at home, I don't see Bowling Green being the team to take down the Redhawks here. I think they get this win rather easily.
Redhawks offense, fantastic, Joe. Number 1 overall in conference play and efficiency. But how about this, though? Bowling Green's defense, not too bad, Joe. 2nd in the conference in efficiency here tonight, but you saw the favorite roughly by a touchdown from Miami of Ohio. They're supposed to win tonight, and we are rooting for them. Be nice to see a team from the MAC unbeaten heading into their conference tournament here. Would be a lot of fun to see that. Indiana versus Purdue tonight, an in-state battle in the Big Ten. This line opened up at 10.5 and still sits at 10.5 in the marketplace in a total of 148.5. Indiana, Purdue, Joe. Last time I checked, last game for Indiana, loss. Last game for Purdue, loss. What happens tonight?
Yeah, all right. Exactly. It's not been a great run here, but, Purdue does a really good job of beating up on the the middle of the road teams, especially at Mackey Arena, right? And they lost the tough one there. It was a terrible spot for Purdue when they first played Indiana in Indiana. It's not going to be. It's a get right spot here for the Boilermakers. This is exactly the kind of team in the spot where they'll bounce back, just like they did against Iowa a couple of games ago. I think same thing here, Donnie. Look for Purdue to get one back at Mackey Arena here tonight.
Saturday night, yes, big-time college basketball. Saturdays are chock full of great matchups here. Iowa State and BYU. Last time we saw BYU, they did lose their game against Arizona, but they did cover it, and they were scrappy. Game number 2 without Richie Saunders. Is that going to be a little bit different, Joe? Iowa State comes to town as a 3.5-point favorite over BYU.
Yeah, this is tough. It's getting worse for BYU by the minute here, Donnie, right? I mean, they're really good at beating everyone else except the top 5 or 6 teams in the cut. That's where they run into problems. And now Richie Saunders gone. Great fight, by the way, again in the second half, but I don't see them having nearly enough left in the tank to be able to handle Iowa State. In fact, Donnie, I think the best bet from here on out is just fade BYU in the first half, Donnie. They only play well in the second half of games for some reason.
This late in the season, Joe, we're going to get Duke versus Michigan. How sensational is that? Michigan is a 2.5-point favorite over Duke, 148.5. This takes me back to my childhood in the 90s, the early 90s, when you had Christian Laettner going up against the Fab Five and Bobby Hurley. Absolutely sensational. This game should have it all, Joe. What are we looking at for this one, Michigan and Duke?
It will have it all, Donnie. And listen, Michigan is no joke. They are rightfully the number 1 team in the country. And listen, they got to prove it again here against Duke. And when they do, they are undoubtedly the number 1 seed heading into March Madness.
Going to D.C., Capital One Arena here. Number 1 Michigan, number 2 Duke. Or at least that's explained there through Ken Palm here. Sensational stuff this weekend. A great weekend ahead. And you know what we do? We shut it down in style next for our final segment. We'll be right back after the break. Now it's a Friday. We want it to be payday. Yesterday, picks didn't work out so well. That's okay. Still up for the week. And time to close the door on a Friday with a couple winners. Here's bye. Looks like I got CLV already in a wager I'm going to make. Joe, where are you headed for tonight?
Donnie, if it ain't broke, we're not fixing it. We're heading back to Miami of Ohio here. Okay. And yeah, 7.5, 8.5. It does not matter here. And I will remind folks, too, back on December 30th, Donnie, when these two teams first played at Bowling Green, Miami of Ohio was a 6.5, 7-point favorite when that game tipped, and they lost by double digits. Got news for you. Yeah, roles are reversed here, and they're still going to lose by double digits here tonight. They have not broken a sweat, Donnie, since those back-to-back double overtime wins there against Buffalo and Kent State. It's been smooth sailing. This team stays grounded. I mean, at this point, none of this has gotten to them. They handle their business. I think they're handling it again here tonight with another double-digit win at home.